Have you ever wondered if there's more to K-pop than just incredible music and dancing? I mean, what if behind all the flash, there's a huge story about war and history hiding in plain sight? Well, today, we're diving into a really fascinating analysis that suggests exactly that.
So here's the big question we're tackling. Could a fictional universe built for a K-pop group actually be a secret metaphor for a war that's been going on for over 70 years? It's a pretty wild idea, but stick with me.
Now look, complex stories are nothing new in K-pop, but the interpretation we're looking at today takes it to a whole other level. It argues that this isn't just some fantasy world, it's a detailed, symbolic retelling of the very real history of the Korean Peninsula.
And we're not just talking about a few little similarities here and there. No, this analysis claims to have found 20 distinct symbolic codes. 20! Each one supposedly maps the story directly onto the ideological conflict that has defined Korea for decades.
So, where does a theory like this even begin? Well, it all starts by connecting the story's big, foundational conflict to a real-world historical event. It draws a straight line from a fictional Great War to the actual Korean War. Okay, so the first major connection this theory makes is between the story's Great War and the Korean War back in 1950. But here's the crucial detail. In the story, the enemy wasn't completely defeated. They were just sealed away. And that, the theory says, is a perfect metaphor for the armistice, the ceasefire that technically never ended the war, leaving this constant, uneasy tension that's still felt today.
So, the idea here is that the current battle isn't being fought with guns and tanks. It's a modern, hidden war going on right under the surface. So how do the bad guys operate in this kind of fight?
And this is where the theory gets super specific. It breaks down the enemy's tactics piece by piece. There's a power in the story called the lion's voice, which is seen as propaganda and fake news. Something called Honmun, an inner gate that lets the enemy slip through, is said to represent an internal spy network. And then there's demonic possession, which is interpreted as a symbol for total ideological brainwashing, where someone is completely taken over by a foreign belief system.
From there, the theory gets into some really provocative territory. It suggests that characters called fallen hunters, who actually turn on their own side, symbolize traitorous intellectuals. And even more pointedly, it looks at anti-fans, people who attack the idols, and interprets them as symbolic useful idiots. That's an old political term for people who, whether they know it or not, end up helping an enemy just by stirring up trouble and division from within.
Okay, so if that's how the enemy fights, what about the good guys? Well, this is where the theory completely flips the script. It argues that the idols themselves and the whole system they're a part of are the ultimate weapon against all of this.
And this is really the core of the whole idea, that the K-pop idol is the final weapon. Why? Because the idol stands for individual expression, for success, for global cultural power, all things that, according to this analysis, are pretty much impossible to create under a totalitarian regime. The idol is a living, breathing symbol of what a free and prosperous society can achieve.
And it doesn't just stop with the idols as people. The argument goes bigger, saying that the entire K-pop industry is basically a small-scale model of a free and democratic society. The theory breaks this down piece by piece. That super intense trainee system, that's seen as a meritocracy based on fair competition. The diverse, colorful outfits, that's a symbol of individuality pushing back against conformity. The fact that the center spot in the dance routine always changes, that's democratic leadership. And my favorite part, the synchronized dancing, which is achieved because everyone chooses to work together, is seen as a symbol of free solidarity. The fans also get a huge role in this metaphor. You know those amazing oceans of light sticks at a concert? Well, this theory says that's the voice of the people, the public opinion of citizens showing their support for freedom. And the world tours? They're a symbol for important international alliances, like the one between the US and South Korea, which strengthen their position on the world stage.
So, you have this huge, symbolic war. What's the end game? What does winning even look like? Well, the analysis wraps up with a really powerful and honestly hopeful vision for how this story is supposed to end.
And this is maybe the most important message of all. The goal isn't to destroy the enemy. It's purification. It's not about annihilation. It's about liberation. The idea is to free the people who've been brainwashed, to help them break free from that ideology and return to being their true, humane selves.
So, when you put it all together, the analysis concludes that this story is really tapping into a deep national hope, a desire for a peaceful unification, one that's achieved through healing and coming together, not through more war. Now, we have to remember, What we've just walked through is one very detailed, very compelling interpretation. It's a theory, a lens to look through. It's not necessarily the one and only truth.
But wow, it really makes you think, doesn't it? It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the pop culture we enjoy every day is actually carrying the deep pains, anxieties, and even the hopes of an entire generation, hidden just beneath the surface.
And that really leaves us with a final question. Whether this specific theory is true or not, it kind of challenges us to listen a little closer, doesn't it? What other stories, what histories, what secret messages might be hiding in the music that you listen to every single day?